Hey guys, so today I'm going to be doing a like the most taboo romances I've ever read. I got this idea from Jess from Peaceful Books, so I'm going to tag her down below and her channel and this exact video that she did. It's such a fun idea. So I have a stack of books right here, and then I have a couple on my phone that I want to show you.
About to leave, already packing.
But the first book that I have to talk about is The Wild by K. Webster. The Wild by K. Webster. I read this book in like one night because it was so insane. This is what inspired this video, because I read it and I was like, oh my god. Like, if you've ever read it or heard anything about it, you will say the same thing. So this is a book about a father and daughter who fall in love, like with each other. So it's very taboo, kind of dark, and I enjoyed it though, because like, this is kind of a spoiler, but spoiler alert, they're not actually related, but still, like, you'll see. But so the whole premise of the story is that our heroine and our hero, they decide as a family to go out in like the wilderness and kind of find a new life together, because they've had a lot of hardships. Her twin brother passed away when she was younger, and it's really hard on the whole family. And so they go out in the wilderness, and something happens to the mom where she's no longer in the picture, and that's because of like stuff in the wilderness. And so they end up being alone together, and there's nobody else around them, and it's just them together, and they have this really intense chemistry, and it just keeps growing and growing and growing and getting even crazier. I enjoyed it. I'm gonna be honest, I liked it. It's really weird. It makes you question everything, but I really liked it, and I do recommend it. But I don't know, just go in there knowing what's going to be in that book, because if you're surprised and you don't know what's going to be in that book, it will not go well. So the next book I wanted to talk about was Still Beating by Jennifer Hartman. This is one of my favorite books of 2022. I can confidently say I read this actually in January, this past month, and it was so good. So the reason why I put it on this list is because our heroine and hero get kidnapped and are taken hostage in this like creepy guy's like basement, and the hero is the heroine's sister's fiance, and so they've hated each other their whole life. And he the night that they both get abducted, he like comes in and like picks her up from the bar and stuff, and the guy like sees them together, and they're like, well, I guess we have to abduct these two. I don't know, but it was so good. Like, they had to survive so much together, and it was insane. This book was so good. It's so angsty, and then they have to kind of fight and wrestle with their feelings for each other, because he doesn't understand why he suddenly is having these feelings for the heroine. And I absolutely love this book. It's so good. It's so good. I read it, I think, in like a day. I need to get the paperback of it so I can have it on my library, on my shelves, but it's so good. Definitely go check it out. I can't remember. I think it's on Kindle Unlimited, but I really, really loved it. And then the next book I wanted to talk about was What He Doesn't Know by Katie Steiner. So this was kind of my first marriage and trouble love triangle romance. And so our heroine and one of our heroes, her husband, they've been through a lot in the past couple years. They lost their twins that they were pregnant with, and she thought he cheated on her and all this different stuff, and so she's really broken and doesn't know how to move on with her life and kind of rekindle her relationship with her husband. And so in walks in her old childhood crush, and he is back in town, and they like reconnect and kind of rekindle their romance. Well, they didn't really have a romance, but they kind of start a romance now, and it's really good. It's a duet. I absolutely loved it. I feel like it doesn't go the way you think. Like, I'm not going to give anything away, but it's really interesting, and I remember like reading and dying to read it the whole time, like wanting to know what the husband's perspective is, because you don't get it at all throughout the first book. But it's really good, so definitely go check that one out. I love Candy Steiner. So now we're going to get into some of my paperbacks I have. So the first one, it's Priest by Sierra Simone. This is a priest romance, and so our hero and heroine meet while she is in a confessional, and he's very intrigued by her, and they just keep meeting each other over and over again throughout the book, and he really likes her, but he's a priest and he can't break his vows, and there's like the forbiddenness of that, and she doesn't want to be the one to like have this happened to him, you know, and so there's so much tension and angst, and it was just so good. I really liked the stuff about Catholicism in this book. It was really interesting, because personally I'm not Catholic, but I've always wanted to kind of learn about Catholicism, and they really touch on that in this book, and I really enjoyed it, and he's into BDSM, so it was really good. So definitely go check it out. I really like Sierra Simone, and this one was very taboo and forbidden.
Life is a winding road, no telling where it goes.
When was younger, that glare. When the heroine was younger, both her parents are murdered, and so the person that saves her is this cop, and so she had such an attachment to him, and he really liked her too. She was like maybe 5 or something, and so he becomes her sole guardian, and so they start a relationship when she's 17, I think, and they just have so much love for each other, and I really love this book. It's very taboo because he's kind of like, she never saw him as a father figure, but definitely, well, I think she did kind of, but not like, she never called him dad or anything like that, but I really liked it. It's a fun romance. I just keep glittering it. So I would check it out if it interests you. I really enjoyed it. It's a short read, and there is some action towards the end. This next one is Raphael by Tilly Cole. This one is pretty dark. So, you don't have to read the prequel before this, but I do recommend it because you kind of get a backstory on all the guys and why they are the way they are. So I think, I can't remember, he's not the one obsessed with blood. He is obsessed with like death. And so there's this like brotherhood of all of these boys who were taken by priests and like tortured and stuff because they thought that they had evil in them, and so he was one of them. And he meets the heroine one night at like a sex club, I think, and she's this like innocent woman, and he's obsessed with the idea of killing her and like having the perfect death for her. And so they start a relationship, and she is kind of actually like an informant because she's kind of working with the priest to get information on him, but she doesn't know what the priest did to him and his brothers. So it's really interesting. I really liked it. It's super dark though. I think there's knife play in it, so definitely be aware of that. But it was super forbidden because I felt like, you know, she was kind of like Snow White to him, and he wanted to preserve her body. It was really creepy, but I enjoyed it. So definitely go check it out. I really love Tilly Cole. This next one was one of my first ever like super taboo romances, and that is Welcome to the Dark Side by Joanna Darling. I absolutely love this book so much. And so our heroine and hero, he saved her from a bullet when she was younger, and so she's always kind of had this connection to him. This is a motorcycle romance series, and throughout the rest of her life, she decides to write to him while he's in prison, and so they kind of have this relationship going, like friendly, like kind of fatherly figure relationship. This kind of fatherly relationship, and so it's really interesting. Not like fatherly, but like he looks out for her even though he's like in jail. And so when he finally gets out, she wants to meet with him, but he doesn't think that's a good idea. And so it's really interesting, and she is the mayor's daughter, so she's like a good girl, and she wants to be on the dark side, and so she tries to get into like his like dark sidedness by like going to a strip club, and like his strip club, and being like a bartender there and trying to get his attention. And it's so good. It's an age gap romance. He's older, and it's really hot and steamy, and there's a lot of action towards the end. I absolutely love this series. As you know, if you watch me, I love Gianna Darling so much. And this is probably one of my favorites out of the series. The heroine does have cancer, so definitely if that triggers you at all or anything like that, I would maybe not read this book, because it does deal a lot with her cancer and her getting cancer again after she's already had it. But I love this book. It's so much fun, and I love The Fallen Men. So definitely go check this one out. This last one is going to be a classic teacher-student romance, but with like a little bit of BDSM. So that's Dark Notes by Pam Godwin. So it's exactly like I just described. It is a BDSM teacher-student romance. He is her music teacher, and so our heroine, she has a really crappy life. Like, she lives in a bad part of town. I think her brother or stepbrother is really abusive and creepy towards her, and so she only ever really feels solace and peace when she's at school and being able to play piano. And so when she meets the new piano teacher or music teacher, she really likes him and he likes her, but he's really hard on her. And they start a relationship, and it's so good. I remember really loving this one. It's kind of like light BDSM, I think. When I remember, it's not at all like 50 Shades of Grey, if you didn't like that book. But I really love Pam Godwin, and from what I can remember, I don't think there's any other really dark content. But I really love this book, so I would definitely try it. Yes, so that is the end of this video. It's a short and sweet recommendation video. I hope you enjoyed it. I really love all of these books so much, and I really love forbidden romances. I did read the second book in the Wild series, and that one actually had incest, so I was like, no, I'm not gonna, I didn't like it. But I did like that book, even though it's kind of like a guilty pleasure for me. I don't know. But definitely down below, let me know if you like super forbidden romances, or what your recs would be for me, because I would love to know, because I'm a sucker for forbidden romances and super taboo books. So yeah, that's all I have for you guys, and I love you guys, and I hope you're having a great day wherever you are, and I'll see you soon.
Life is a winding road, no telling where it goes.